There's something about the connection to nature that is a yearning that we all actually have. But when you live in a city with concrete and steel and asphalt, and when you actually go out into the country and plant something and watch it grow, it just resonates internally.
We at Pie Ranch are excited to be involved in this land access work in order to preserve the arable farmlands that we know are going to be necessary to provide our future generations with the food it needs.
In San Mateo County, this used to be a very agricultural county. In fact, the entire Bayside was farms and orchards. You see, there are no more farms and orchards here anymore. It's all houses. So our last remaining ag land is on the coast, and it is threatened also with being developed or being taken out of production, and I think that will diminish the entire county if that happens.
In some ways, it's something like the hole in the donut, you know, because there's probably not 15,000 people that live within a half hour of here, but there's 7 million people that live within 1 hour of here.
The urban population needs good food. We want good food. We're asking for good food, and the only way that we're going to be able to have it is if this land in the San Mateo corridor is preserved. It's our responsibility as food educators, as farmers, to make it happen, and we have to make it happen.
Something's wrong with the food system right now. It's not working for human health. So we have to redesign it in some way.
I think there's a lot of challenges with the food system right now. Of course, we're trying to bring back more of a local agriculture, connecting eaters and producers more closely.
The community really drives what agricultural commodities are produced. And so what you try to do is to set up an environment that encourages, that diversification, provides markets where the community can access locally grown produce, and hopefully your agricultural community will follow. And I think if you can grow that, then you're going to drive that model from the large agricultural industries, down to more diversified and organic type models.
There will be a shift in agriculture on the San Mateo coast, and I think throughout the country, where we have to decide what our farms are going to look like.
There's something really special happening in coastal San Mateo County right now, which is we see this next generation of farmers coming in. And these are people who have a new approach to farming that's very integrated. They're doing a good job of communicating to the community about food. They're participating in broad discussions having to do with food policy and food distribution, and they're popping up all over the place, and it's this growing momentum, a critical mass, and I want to make sure that they stay here.
And about 5 or 6 years ago, a couple of young people moved into the neighborhood who were farmers and leasing or arranging land on Peninsula Open Space land and started farming. And not only did they have a passion for it, but it was nice to have the wonderful products that they were growing right in our neighborhood.
What I'd like to see as part of the resurgence of the sustainable food system is more people on the land farming smaller parcels with greater diversity, really geared towards local markets. And we can't do that without having access to housing, and people who own land but don't know what to do with it really beginning to see the importance of agriculture so that they can make it available to young people that are willing to do the work.
We happen to have chosen in our situation leasing land to new and beginning farmers. Right now we have 3 farms that we lease land to. They need equipment. They need land access, they need, they need a place to live. Those are not small challenges in this particular area.
It's impossible on a farmer's salary to actually afford land on the San Mateo coast.
There is land out there, there's plenty of land. It's just hard to get access to. Give the young people, a chance to do something right.
We're talking to Post and for Mid-Penn, asking them about their land acquisition. And when they've acquired a ranch or a farm, we want to talk to them about one of the ways of sustaining that land best, taking care of it best, is really through sustainable agriculture.
POST is a Peninsula Open Space Trust. We're a nonprofit land trust that's been operating on the San Francisco Peninsula since 1977. And one of the components of our mission to protect open space for people here now and future generations is to protect agricultural land.
We want to sit down with the open space districts and see if they won't release some of the land and make it available and sell it back to the people at a reasonable price that they can make a living on it and raise a family.
So 5 years ago, we were lucky to be one of the founding partners of the San Mateo Food Systems Alliance, this group of regional stakeholders who are interested in food system change.
A public pool of affordable agricultural land.
We decided instead of just being an ag futures initiative, we really needed to work on food. We wanted to incorporate the health aspect into that because obviously food and health go very closely together. And so we became the first Food Systems Alliance in the state of California.
And on behalf of the San Mateo County Food Systems Alliance, we present you with an all-local Pie Ranch pie.
So land access, particularly for new farmers, is going to be a really important policy initiative that we need to work on. We don't know all the details, we don't know exactly what we need to do or the mechanisms and how that is going to happen, but it's something that's really important, and I know Jared at Pie Ranch is at the forefront of trying to get this done.
They've been a really wonderful partner to work with, certainly in terms of helping us in our relationships and introducing us to elements of the agricultural community, particularly the younger farmers that are starting out in our area.
Here at Pie Ranch, we've connected with POST. We've really had some good connections in opening up the access puzzle and figuring out some solutions.
And the other thing is to figure out a way to take land that really is prime agricultural production and keep it in prime agricultural production, and making sure that that organic farmer is able to have long enough leases so that it makes sense for them to put in some of the infrastructure, like fencing, like wells, like a house to live in. So we're going to have to work together to create that kind of environment so that we have more young farmers producing for our community.
Everything we've got comes from the land. People seem to forget that. Everything. I mean, without farming, you don't eat. Of course, I don't grow food products, but we've always considered flowers to be food for soul.
The essential survival nature of the ability to grow food for humans and how to factor that into our traditions of land ownership is a big challenge, but it's something that maybe has a very common value to all of humanity. So to figure out new models of how that may work best is a challenge that we're interested in participating in the experiment.
We at Pie Ranch are figuring out how we can support the producers of the food through long-term access to affordable land and secure tenure over the long term.
We certainly hope to continue to work with them in trying to help get the word out to some of our donors about the importance of local sustainable agriculture on the coast and the importance of protecting as much land as we can now and keeping that land available for agriculture in the future.
Just like we need protected park space for our psychological well-being and be able to play and recreate, we need to preserve that productive farmland so that we know that we have that resource to provide our communities with the food that it needs.